College football starts this month, and in this video, I'll be talking about 5 dark horse candidates for the Heisman. Let's go ahead and get started here. First up is the most underrated quarterback and the most underrated player in the whole entire country, and that is Texas State quarterback Brad Jackson. As a freshman last year, he tossed for over 3,200 passing yards, which was 24th most in the FBS. He had 21 passing touchdowns with 7 interceptions. He had games of 444 passing yards and 2 touchdowns against Marshall, and a game where he had 360 passing yards and 3 touchdowns against Louisiana. Brad Jackson is a great passer, but he's also great at running the ball as well. He had 744 rushing yards last season to go along with 17 rushing touchdowns. That was 5th most in the FBS. He had a sensational game where he had 281 passing yards with 2 passing touchdowns, had 113 rushing yards with 3 touchdowns on the ground. 12 out of his 13 games last season, he had 2 or more touchdowns. It's also worth noting Texas State is the only team in college football returning 2 1,000-yard receivers from last season. They have Chris Don Jr. and Bo Sparks, 2 of the best wide receivers in the group of 6. So Brad Jackson has some great weapons to throw the ball to. Jackson is due for a great season, and I would not be surprised if he puts even better numbers this year for the Bobcats. Next up is Delaware quarterback Nick Minucci. He had 3,683 passing yards last season. That was 6th most in the FBS. He had 23 passing touchdowns with 7 interceptions. He can also run the ball very good as well, having 235 rushing yards with 10 touchdowns on the ground. With those impressive numbers, Minucci was 2nd team All-Conference USA last season, and he was named the preseason Conference USA Offensive Player of the Year. Minucci has one of the best wide receivers in the group of 6 to catch the ball from him, and Sean Wilson, who had nearly 70 receptions, almost 900 yards, and 3 touchdowns last season. Minucci really has a chance to get his name on a national stage. Delaware goes on the road to Vandy in week 2 and on the road to Virginia in week 4. And I wouldn't be shocked if they win one of those games against a Power 4 opponent. Minucci is severely underrated. He might not get a ton of national recognition, but he's going to put up Heisman-like numbers this season. Next up is Louisville running back Isaac Brown. In 9 games last season, he had 884 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns. Brown averaged 8.8 yards per carry last year. That is absolutely insane. With no surprise, that led the FBS. Brown is a big play machine. He had plays of 52, 53, 68, 73, and 78 yards last season for the Cardinals. Brown had a game against Boston College. We had 205 yards on just 14 rushing attempts. Louisville does not play Miami or California this season, and in my opinion, I think they have a much easier schedule this year compared to last season. And some people, including myself, think they are a dark horse to make the college football playoffs this season. If they're in college football playoff contention this year and if Brown could put up similar numbers, I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up being a Heisman finalist. Next up on this list is Texas State wide receiver Bo Sparks. Last season, he had 84 receptions, which was 8th most in the FBS, and he had exactly 1,200 receiving yards, which was 6th most in the FBS, and he had 10 receiving touchdowns. In Texas State's season opener last season, he had 4 touchdowns, and that was a big indication of how good he was going to play last year for the Bobcats. He had 155 yards against UTSA, 168 yards against Marshall, and 186 yards against Louisiana. Bo Sparks could have very easily transferred to a big Power 4 program, but he elected to stay at Texas State and make a name for himself there. Brad Jackson is the most underrated quarterback, the most underrated player in college football, and the player directly behind him is his teammate Bo Sparks. I think this is without question the most underrated duo in college football. It's not even close. With a year under his belt with Brad Jackson, expect Sparks to have even better numbers this year for Texas State. And the final player on this list is California quarterback JKS, my pick to win the Heisman this season. Last year for the Bears, he had 3,454 passing yards, 18 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and 4 touchdowns on the ground. JKS led true freshmen in passing yards last season. He threw for 323 passing yards and 2 touchdowns against a win at number 15th ranked Louisville, and he had 330 yards with 4 touchdowns, a win against number 21 SMU. There are very few quarterbacks better than JKS the last 4 weeks of the college football season. He averaged 314 passing yards per game with 9 total touchdowns and most importantly, 0 interceptions. And when you're looking at JKS, he was fantastic his first year, but Cal got so many great players in the transfer portal. To me, it's hard to see a season where JKS does not improve his numbers tremendously. Like Chase Hendricks from OU, who had over 1,000 receiving yards last season and had 7 touchdowns. Dorian Thomas, a tight end transfer from New Mexico, who had over 50 receptions, over 500 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And then Ian Strong, a wide receiver from Rutgers, who over the last 2 years has nearly 100 catches, over 1,400 yards, and 10 touchdowns. JKS has so many new weapons in this offense, and he's going to have a huge leap in production. And he's my pick to win the Heisman this year. These are 5 players I have as Heisman dark horses this season. Let me know what you think in the comments. That about does it for this video. If you're new to my channel, or you've seen my videos before, make sure to like this video and hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time on the Sports Behind Show.